This video is only one part of an in-depth review, so check out the rest at thegoodride.com. Thanks for watching. Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and this is the Now Drive 2022. I compared it against the Jones Meteorite and the Jones Mercury. I got it out on the Jones Mountain Twin and rode it with that, and started out with my Union Atlas just as a baseliner because those are the bindings I ride every day. I wanted to see how those felt with the Jones Mountain Twin before I put these on, and then compared it to the others. I rode these primarily with my Burton Kendos, and I got these in really good conditions. Really bad conditions, firm and unfair, then firm but fair, then like almost perfect groomers, and then messy, kind of uneven snow at the end of the day. To give you a short summary, the Now Drives are kind of like the all-mountain, multi-purpose binding that works with a wide variety of boards in Now's line. It's a little more responsive than the Pilot and a little less responsive than the Recon and the O-Drives, but they compare pretty well to the Meteorite and the Mercury. Not so much the Apollo. That's more in line with the O-Drive and the Recon. But these offer limited adjustability, stance width wise, and no adjustability boot to binding wise. They have pre-rotated high backs, which is a little frustrating for me. They can cause pressure points with the sway bar here that goes under the gas pedal if you have softer soled boots, but if you have stiffer soled boots, you won't notice. But what they do really well is they give you a very damp, very smooth ride, and they have some of the best shock absorption in the business. It is just so nice, smooth, damp at high speeds and slow speeds. So it makes for a great all-day resort ride, and you can just go out and hammer through pretty much any condition, and they'll be better than pretty much any other binding out there other than other Now designed bindings. So let's get into the weight. These are 1.8 pounds with discs and screws. Very light binding, and it's a little lighter than the Mercury and the Meteorite at 2 pounds. Now let's talk Highback Flex. There's a decent twist here and a little give, but not much. And it's kind of a narrower high back. This has a little more width, the Meteorite, and a little more twist, but just about the same give going back. And then you compare this to the Mercury, there's a little less twist and a little less give, but a wider high back. So, you know, all three of these have mild calf bite, but I can live with it. You know, with the pre-rotation of the high backs and a little bit of twist, my even featured calves can deal with this without too much calf bite. Now let's talk flex underfoot and butterability. Of course, all the stoppers are off. Here we go. You have 4 stoppers on each side. I generally go with the more responsive stopper, but you can put softer stoppers on here that add to the butterability, kind of slow down the response a little bit. And then you've got this kingpin tech right here. Let me pop the top here. And you can see this. Let me see if I can do this here. This moves up and down a little bit. It moves like this. And it basically works with the stoppers. So the contact points are this area right here, the Kingpin technology, kind of their skate tech thing, along with these 4 stoppers. And what that does is it doesn't deaden the board, but it dampens it and stiffens it up. And a lot of people like that feeling, including myself. Even with the wider heel cup that fits most boots, you feel pretty locked in here. And it's just not really a buttery binding, but you can butter with it okay. And it really depends on the flex of your board, more so than the binding. Now, when it comes to turn initiation and response, I feel like Jones passed up Now this year. The Jones Mercury used to be about the same response as the Now Drive. I felt like they had equal response. This year, it definitely bumped up from being mid-level with the Mercury to being medium fast response-wise, and it really powered the Jones Mountain Twin better edge to edge, and it felt like it made the Jones Mountain Twin a more responsive board than the Now Drive. The Now Drive feel the same as they did in years past. They're just kind of mid-ground where it's nice and smooth and predictable, and a lot of people like that, but it's not going to really give you the response that the Mercury did for me this year. I felt like it was on par though with the Meteorite. That did a better job. It paired up better to this year, which was kind of surprising. It was interesting to see how much more responsive Jones got in comparison to now, where these kind of stayed the same. Now, when it comes to shock absorption and dampness, they're the best in the business. These 4 stoppers give you high speed dampness. They keep your edge quiet so you can get faster turn initiation at higher speeds. And it helps keep that edge set so you can power through a turn harder than you could many other bindings because of that dampness here. But then you've got this just kind of like medium soft EVA foam throughout this binding that really is good at slow speed as well as high speed shock absorption when combined with these stiffer stoppers. Even the soft stoppers do an amazing job. The one thing I don't like is this sway bar under the gas pedal here. Most bindings that have this soft EVA foam have a plastic plate that goes above the sway bar you see here, so it doesn't cause any pressure points throughout the footbed. What I find with these bindings is, let's say these are my toes and this is where my foot is, I get a pressure right here from that sway bar when I put the toe strap on and the ankle strap on, and it causes some discomfort, it fatigues me faster, and it kind of ruins my day. It wasn't as bad with my Burton Kendos and Burton Ions with kind of a medium sole, but it was horrible with my Adidas Tactical ADVs that have a very soft sole. So if you have a stiff soled boot, you're not going to notice this, it's going to be fine. If you have a softer soled boot or a medium soft boot, you're probably going to notice this, especially with a soft. Medium, you might be able to live with it. I really need to know what kind of boot you're riding before I could recommend these. But overall though, very damp, very shock absorbent ride. Now when it comes to support, I like this ankle strap, but this year I really fell in love with the Jones Mercury ankle strap. It's just exceptional. In comparison to the Meteorite, this ankle strap just wasn't as, it was more on par with the Now Drive. Neither of them were as supportive and responsive and just felt like locked in and rad. So this was definitely the winner this year. It made these feel a little more old, a little more outdated, and I'd love to see these get an upgrade because, you know, I didn't know what I liked them before. Now, with this new technology, I like them a little less. They're still good ankle straps. They're still supportive, especially with this heel cup that kind of really wraps around your boot. It doesn't pinch anymore with most boot sizes. They've definitely improved the heel loop here, but it's still very supportive and very good that way. The toe strap's good, but I really like the toe strap of the Mercury and the Meteorite better. I just thought that was, these just did a little bit better job wrapping around a boot, but they were okay. And these are okay too. They're soft rubber with a stiffer rubber on the outside, and they never came off, so they held really well with my Burton Kendos. The ratchets, nice and smooth, no issues there. Now when it comes to adjustability, there really is none. Highbacks are pre-rotated. There is no adjustability with the footbed to slide it in or out to match your boot size. For me, I was a size 9, and these are mainly made for like 8 to 10 boots. So I fit centered in these. So then I could turn these discs, and I'll take out the Apollo here, and I could slide it a little bit each way, but you can see these discs don't have much room for stance width adjustability. They're primarily made to be put toe to heel so you can slide them up or back if you have, let's say, a size 8 boot or a 10 boot, so you can center your boot on the board a little bit better. So stance width adjustability, very limited to none, depending on your boot size and boot footprint. And then boot to binding adjustability, there's really none. That was kind of a bummer for me because I really do like to dial out my binding to my boot. You do have toolless adjustability for the ankle straps and the toe straps and for the forward lean. And that's pretty much all your adjustability. So overall, there is limited adjustability. And if you have a soft soled boot, I wouldn't recommend these. But with a medium stiffness soled boot, might work for you. And a stiff one, it'll definitely work for you. You won't have any pressure points there. And if you can get past those two things, you have a very shock absorbent, very damp, smooth turning ride. Yeah, I like the Mercury a little better this year, but this is still a good, recommendable binding, and if now calls to you, this could work. All our reviews are a best effort, objective opinion from an average rider's perspective. There's no brand oversight, and we're free to say whatever we want. We send back everything unless it's a favorite, then we ask to keep those or straight up buy them. Now, if you need advice, fill out the eHarmony profile in the Contact Us section of the site. It's the only way I can help you properly. If you want to support us, and if what we reviewed appeals to you, it helps if you buy through our links. So, thanks for watching.